We saw a press release come out this morning talking about the this quarter's numbers. What do you make of them? Are you happy with them?
In the circumstances, more than happy. I think I wrote in the press release, totally delighted, to be honest. I think when you actually consider, I think like many companies, where we were at the beginning of the second quarter, and where we might find ourselves by the end of the quarter, I think to actually come out with 85% of our budgeted production is a miraculous result. We, as we've talked before and we've already put into the market, we took measures to really make sure that the safety of our workforce was paramount. We decided to remove non-essential workers from the site to create space so we could socially distance our workers. We decided to remove anyone and send them home who was older. That sounds ageist, but it was the right thing to do. Anyone who had a health issue. And so we essentially kept a young, fit, healthy workforce at the site. We introduced what rotation we were doing. I mean, the workforce was super flexible. They were restricting or limiting their rotation. So that's a risk, obviously. Every time there's someone coming in or coming out, we reduced that to a minimum. And those coming in were all tested. We got all of the kits and we had them all tested and checked them for symptoms. So then, of course, people coming in we knew were, in good shape, healthy. That's it. And we've actually managed to basically keep the camp clear and safe, and it's a great achievement. I was really quite concerned that we were going to really struggle with this. So to come out of that with 8,500 ounces was terrific. And look, it has meant some things have got shelved. Exploration, for example, has been shelved. A lot of the project work we were doing, but we've kept the core business going. And to produce 85% of the budget with 65% of the workforce, fantastic result. Really pleased.
Okay, I buy that. But I also noticed that the grade's gone down. I mean, it's sitting at just below 6 grams. You're normally typically around 8 there or thereabouts. I mean, what's happening?
Well, a little bit of a technical sort of explanation here. The ore sorter, we spent a lot of time testing this ore sorter. We know it works terrifically well, and it is designed to work on low-grade material. So we set the mine up at the end of 2019 to start mining lower grade areas, put in more development, which by its nature is lower grade, it's more diluted, and to feed the sorter with it. So we committed to these areas. So the plan was, quite simplistically, the plant can do 45,000 tons per quarter. The mine can do more. The intention was to actually mine, say, 55,000 tons per quarter and feed that additional material into the ore sorter to screen it, to make the best 45,000 tons to go to the plant. Now, obviously, we've basically sent home 35% of our workforce. So we were still committed to the same lower grade areas in the mine, but we actually just couldn't, let's say, overmine because we didn't have the workforce. And so essentially the ore sorter has been somewhat parked for, used minimally, let's say, for the last 2 months. So we haven't been able to take the advantage of it. So that sort of raw mine material has gone straight from the mine to the plant without being sorted. So that's why the grade has basically gone from 7.5 down to just around 6. It will be back, no problem, because in Q3 and more so in Q4, when we get the mining rate back up again, we'll be over mining, we'll be passing through the sorter, and the grade will be coming back up. The thing is, you just can't, in a mine, and people will understand with an underground mine, you just can't, because of an event, you just can't suddenly stop over here and mine high grade over there. You eat what you kill. You're committed to an area, and we set this up. Nobody knew this was going to happen, and we were therefore, into areas that were lower grade anyway. We can't suddenly, I say, being plant constrained. Being with a sort of workforce constraint with the enforced reduction, we didn't do so well. But that said, I still think it's a great result, and no fear, we'll be back in good shape and towards the end of the year, and that all sort will be working very, very hard.
And what do you know? So you gave some idea last time we spoke about the ore sorter. I mean, you said it's been used minimally, but so what do you know about its capabilities? Is it going to be able to significantly enhance your production going forward?
Well, year to date, it's basically lifting the grade around 7 times. the thing about it is, what you've got to remember is it does come at a price. It's not a perfect piece of equipment. You still get losses with it. So, for example, I think broadly speaking, we fed it with about sort of 3,000 tons so far at a grade of around 2 grams, and it's turned 3,000 tons at 2 grams into sort of 500 tons at 9 grams, which is real high grade feed. But it's created a 2,500 tons of low grade. But you do get losses in that low grade. So when you're in a situation like we've been for the last 2 months, what's coming out of the mine the plant can handle, you don't really want to pass that through the ore sorter, because you will be losing gold if you do. The whole purpose of the ore sorter was actually to treat surplus production, and we haven't had surplus production in Q2 because of the manpower reduction. That's the key. We will have surplus production again in Q4, later Q3 and Q4. So this is when it will be used again.
Okay, so and again, sorry to stick with the ore sorter, but people do like to understand what the capabilities are. So, do you think the ore sorter, given the information that you have about it now, will allow you to kind of play some level of catch up if you do get back to some sense of normality by the end of the year, or even Q1 next year?
Yeah, no, I think it gives us an ability to increase our annual ounces by 15 to 20%. So I think that's it. If we'd actually not had this and we kept going normally, we would have produced in Q2, probably 10,500. It will allow us to do an extra 2,000, 1,500, 2,000 ounces per quarter. That's what it's. That's, we know from test work and what it did start doing in Q1. That's what it will give us. So instead of doing a 40, we're nominally a 40,000 ounce limited operation, because that's what the plant can do today. If you screen 25% of your feed before it goes to the plant through the ore sorter, that 40,000 ounces per year becomes 48,000 ounces per year. That's where we're going.